We'll call the meeting to order. Start with the pledge.
Oh, mercy.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So,
Play ball.
play ball, as David said. We'll look for a motion to approve the agenda. So moved. Motion by Craig.
Second.
Second by Kelly. All in favor? 7-0. Then we have a motion. I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda. So moved. Craig and Amanda. All in favor? 7-0. 6-0. Apparently I need to count better. Okay. So I think that moves us into reports.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Dr. Dill.
Okay, so,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's okay.
We'll move into the approval of the 2025-26 meal pricing.
so I went in and we dug around and found some historical information that we needed to be able to set this. In DESE, there's a paid equity lunch calculator. You can only raise the price of meals up so high. The maximum is 10 cents. Because they do start having, there's some federal guidelines on how much you can raise. So in some years I put it in there, I could raise it a nickel. In some years I could raise it, 8 cents or whatever. So in keeping with what you all have been doing, I went ahead and increased the elementary and high school lunches by a dime. The next column over, you can see the fixed price cost for OPA this year. And so then you can see the differences there. Breakfast, I did the same, followed suit on that. And then for staff breakfast and lunch, that's a little different. I've been through 2 IRS audits in my tenure, long tenure. And one of the things that we don't often think about is if we're paying for staff food, staff meals, then that can, if we ever, it's not Prop Health's problem, which is a pretty big problem, then that can be taxable, because that is a benefit. And so you can see in where it says OPA fixed price cost, I raised the staff breakfast and lunch to those fixed costs.
Anybody have any questions for Dr. Dill on any of this? Any discussion here? If not, we'll just seek a motion to approve the 25-26 meal pricing.
Make a motion to approve the 25-26 meal price.
Motion by Amanda.
Second.
Second by Craig. All in favor? 6-0. Amy? All right, so then we'll move into reports. I think you're over here.
Yeah, so one of the things that I'm telling you, you've got some rock stars over here to my right. This group here at Central Office have been amazing. I love this new budget program because it gives you a real nice picture of the pie chart, kind of what portion of money is going where. But I also love the fact that it's going to give you 3 years of back data. And so the way I always like to try to get as balanced as I can. And so Lisa, bless her heart, has just been working on this. Miss Linda Quinley came down. She was kind of here when I rolled in the first part of June. And so they were able to get our budget for fiscal year 26 down to $2,334. So now here's my caution is we still don't have, this was before we got last Monday's information about our title cuts. And so there was about a 27,000 deficit in our title funds that we're going to get this next year. And about, $3,000-4,000 on the title $4. So we've got a few little things there, but we've got some things in place that will help hopefully curb those costs. So that's an unknown, and really until we get our true DESI first real payment, which is usually October-ish, we really don't know for sure what they're going to pay us for SAT or any of those things. So we still got a few unknowns, but we put together a sound budget for what we know at this point in the process. Fiscal year 25, you can see this is using numbers. These numbers aren't quite, won't be correct just quite yet because we still have 2 payrolls, which in about was 800,000-ish or something like that, and then bills that are unpaid yet. So we'll get those finished up, and you'll have a truer number next month when you get this. We would like to keep forwarding this to you all if that's okay, if you find it useful, because it's a really great report, I think. It gives you, where we're at, and teachers that fund too that you all voted for the tax levy that is sitting here under teacher, that's fund too. So yeah, and so it's looking like at the end of fiscal year 26, given the information we have, we'll be at a 32%, guesstimated 32% fund balance. Now in July, I will be going in and really dissecting what's here, so I can give you kind of a 3-year, look back at like electric bills, utility bills, transportation, and in various departments. So those numbers will be coming just as soon as I have time to get in and do that. So.
Appreciate you jumping in and helping, and of course Lisa spent a ton of time.
She did. She's a rock star.
Stepping up.
Now we are able, can I mention one more thing? We are able, if you go down just a little bit, it'll say 7% capital transfer. We are able to transfer out 7%. And so I went ahead and put that in there. We need a little bit of capital project money so we can get some things kind of shored up and taken care of, and we just never know when something big. When we put that money in, then I will be, this time next year, actually in May, we're going to bring, April or May, we're going to bring a summer project list to you with cost. So you can see, that we're not going to use all of that most likely, but you'll get to see what the projects are going to run. And that's our goal for the summer, is to knock off all those projects.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
With our 32%, that's not counting that Fisher money, right?
Mm-mm. Nope, just district money.
The current number.
Mm-hmm.
So it could change a little bit. But
Yeah. Real numbers.
that's a tool. That is a tool in that budget program where you can plug in your SAT and your WADA, and then it pops up that number and says this is what they're estimating to transfer over. That would be the max.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Very good. Does anybody have any questions about the budget or the process? Anything in particular?
Sounds good to me.
Do what?
I said, it sounds good to me.
Good, good.
Yeah, I do like the view here. I mean, it's nice to see kind of everything broken down. It seems to me to be a lot simpler. This program.
I'm a visual person.
Yeah, this program looks to be a good program for us.
Pretty good data entry too. I mean, like it's very simple and easy to find as, find your codes and plug in the numbers, and a lot of data entry.
And now that it's
Easy to operate.
set, she'll just have to go back and put in the next year's numbers. She hopefully as much.
So you're an expert now.
Yeah.
No, no.
She's mine,
Nope,
so.
not at all.
All right, very good. If there aren't any other questions, that'll move us into old business. So we've got the approval of some handbooks.
I've got my team here. So really and truly, these are set, ready to go. High school and middle school will be updating their schedule because of, our rerouting for the ELA position. And then I've sent off the notices, the required federal notices, to our attorney, Emily, and she's going to get back with me on what the most up-to-date regulation or policy is that we notice that we need in order to make that current. So as soon as they get here, which should be any time, then they will replace that in their current books, and they'll be consistent throughout. But they've done a great job in getting everything kind of rounded out, and things are ready. We will have to tweak. I know in the elementary we put the prices of the meals, so we'll tweak that, and then as soon as Emily gets me the notices, then we'll put those in there, and they'll be ready to go to the printer. Anything to add, you guys?
Just on that. Are we talking about that other later? The Tippton's policy?
No, go ahead. You can talk about that now.
So I think you guys have seen the Tippton's policy in there. Part of that has a chart that shows it's X number of classes equals 2% off your grade. Goes from like 10 is 2% off, 11 is 4, 12 classes missed, 8 doubles each day you miss. That was what the old policy was and still is, but during COVID, the way it enforced the Tippton's policies because kids were having to miss days for weeks at a time. But moving back now away from that, I'd like to start reinforcing those policies. So just as far as looking at that to make sure that you guys are still comfortable with those numbers, just before we put it back in the planner and say, this is what it is.
And part of our MSIP, our accreditation, is still that 90%. Kids come to school 90% of the time, so that would help.
You're only talking about 5% of the kids that miss more than that. It's for those 5 percenters that it's hard to get them to school if there's nothing holding over their head. They can miss 40 times and still pass the class. A lot of reasons to come to school.
I think it'd be worth, I know you probably already have a plan for this, to just reinforce it, at the beginning of the school year, let everyone know.
Yeah, that's whenever we do our first day with kids. That'll be the one that I stress the most to kids. We usually have like cell phone. It's policy.
Don't we have new legislation on cell phones too, though?
I haven't seen the final on that.
Okay.
But as soon as I get it, I'll get it to them. We're going to the DESI conference at the end of July, and there'll be some legal stuff in there, so we'll be able to snag a hold of that.
Yeah, I mean, if we've got this in the handbook, I know COVID obviously changed some things, but following the handbook is good. I don't have any issue there.
I'll put it in the newsletter and events too. So,
And that, what he's talking about is import policy also, JEE.
So how will your attendance rate affect credit recovery? Let's say little Johnny misses 40
I'll
times.
have to recover that time. Like that's what we used to have to do. If a kid missed X number of hours over, they had to make up those hours for after school. Or if they miss, only 1 hour or 1 hour over, then they can take the 2% hit or recover it. Like for the 5% or less of kids that actually do that, it's going to be having to recover 16, 18 hours. I think we have a lot of kids that teeter on the barely over 10. It's 30 days and it's 5 total. So give us an extra thing to hold over those 5% of kids that miss a lot of schools.
Have we seen that percentage change after COVID from what it was before?
Percentage as far as number of days missed.
Yeah, I mean, do
Our
we still,
attendance this year was pretty solid. It was back up at 90-some%, which was the best we've had in a while. We had several months where we were 95, 96%. We had January, February where it did a little bit of sickness and snow, and then I found that the other day. We didn't have 1 day left this week, but for the most part, our months last year
just didn't know. I guess a follow-up question is, 5% of kids, is that pretty consistent with, was it 5% before COVID, or
Right.
is it kind of always hovering around that, or?
I don't think so, because we had this in place where they had to show up enough to get the credit to move on to the next grade.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
think
where,
it was more 1%. Like
Yeah.
one kid.
I just wonder if there's, if that accountability is there, that if they say, well, there is a penalty.
Well, and it's staged out too, where if they get to this number, then, the principals may reach out to, Children's Division for support. They may reach out to the juvenile, for support. So there's caveats in there throughout, so.
And that helped. We did that quite a bit. And then whenever Chad retired from his role,
Mhm.
then we kind of didn't have a person that really answered the phone or answered emails. And somebody showing up to school to talk to the kid. But I think now Nancy's got a new person for us to contact. So hopefully with them and with the policy, those two work together to those kids.
Chad was big enough he could scare them into coming to school.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a big boy.
Yeah, they would have to show up to school.
Anybody have any questions or more discussion on the handbooks?
I think if it's what we had before COVID, we need to get back to it. Get started enforcing it and get them kids back on track.
I think so. I mean, it's hard when you have essentially guidelines in place and then you
Yeah.
only apply some and not all of them. So
Yeah, we need to shoot her right down the middle, and they either show or they don't, and then they're in trouble.
It's a
Or
good life skill.
it is good.
Got
Like
to
Yeah.
show up for work every day.
kind of like the real world.
If there's no further questions or discussion on this, seek a motion for approval of both of these.
So moved.
Motion by David,
So,
second by Craig. All in favor? 6-0 there. All right, so that'll move us into new business. We just looked at the budget a few minutes ago. If there aren't any more questions, I would seek a motion to approve the 25-26 budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the 25-26 budget as presented.
Motion by Craig,
Second.
second by Kelly. I think you got you. All in favor? It's 6-0. All right, so moving on. This is just the board, a first look and first reading of some policies. Do you want to see the?
It's up to you all.
These are all obviously mandated by law. We need to approve these to be legally compliant. So we can either look through this and approve now, or we can put this on the July board meeting. I had a chance to look through these. I don't know if anyone else did. If you have looked through them, then I'd seek a motion to approve now, or just some discussion on if you'd like to waive and wait.
There are a lot of policies in Hike right now.
Yes. Fast.
I'll make a motion to approve these new policies as presented.
A motion by Craig,
Second.
second by Kelly. All in favor? 6-0. All right, so perfect. So that moves us into recommendation for financial advisory services. So we put out an RFQ, and fortunately we did have some good responses.
Yeah, we
So
did.
we'll talk through those.
Yeah. So you all used to use LJ Hart. It looks like back in 18 was maybe they helped you with some obligation bond, general obligation bond, series 19 or something like that. They were one of the vendors that did send a proposal, as well as Stiefel. And those were as I read through, I looked at the RFQ, and I'm a rule follower. And so I went through and said, okay, what's the requirements? And I checked every proposal to make sure they had met it. After reading all of these, it feels like to me, and I've worked with this group before, that LJ Hart would be my recommendation to go back. You all had a 15-year relationship or so with them. They know you. They've helped you through some bond, refundings and things like that, especially if you're wanting to try to do any kind of a no tax increase, a bond issue coming up. They would be helpful. LJ Hart did mention in their cover letter they caught some of the information that we sent, and so they were talking about a quick fix. I mean, not a quick fix, but something that we could do. I didn't see that in any of the other documents. So my recommendation would be LJ Hart first, and then second.
I have taken a few different calls, and I think that all these companies look like great companies.
They
But
are.
I have received some recommendations, some folks that I trust to talk about LJ Hart being a good fit for us at our district.
They know rural districts.
They helped us refinance several times, saved us quite a bit of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had mentioned that, like 4 refundings, and it saved
Correct.
like $860,000.
Couple $100,000 each time they did that.
Yeah.
The 2015 bond.
We have these folks in front of us to look through and approve. Would seek a motion. Personally, I would be in favor of moving to LJ Hart as well. So if there is,
I'll make a motion that we move to LJ Hart for financial advisory services.
motion by Kelly,
Second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever.
second by Derek. All in favor? It's the 6-0 Amy. You are up, sir.
I make a motion to move us into closed session following 610.021 for 3 and 13 to include Jason, Ashley, and Bridget, and Dr. Dill.
All right, very good. Motion by Derek. We have a second for this.
Yes, second.
Second by Craig. Amanda?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes, sir.
And I'm a yes at 6-0. Thank you all.